There's a general misconception and mix-up around AMAC and FCDA documentation. What do you have to say about this misconception?
So thank you very much. I've seen a number of investors, both returning and early investors, mix up the concept of AMAC documentation and FCDA documentation. In Abuja, we have two major kinds of documentation. We have the area council documentation and the FCDA documentation. Now we have 6 kinds of area councils here in the city of Abuja. We have the Abaji Area Council, the AMAC, which is the Abuja Municipal Area Council. We have Buari Area Council, Gwagwalada Area Council, Kuje Area Council, and Kwali Area Council. Of all these 6, AMAC seem to be the most populous. And the reason is because of the strong governmental presence, the governmental structures, and most of the activities that happen within the Abuja Municipal Council here in the city of Abuja, Nigeria. Now, which is why AMAC seems to be the area council of all 6 that projects more presence in terms of title documentations and the building of properties and other projects. Now, when it comes to FCDA title, it is issued directly from the federal government, which is why it is under the allocation of the FCDA, which is the Federal Capital Development Authority. They either give you a C of O title, they give you an R of O document, or they give you a letter of intent document. Now, this is also applicable to any of the area council lands. You can either be given an R of O under the jurisdiction of any of these area councils, but more so an AMAC R of O. You can also be given an AMAC C of O, or a letter of intent that comes with the intention for mass housing around the area of the Abuja Municipal. This is the major difference between the AMAC and the FCDA title. Under the AMAC title, you have the legitimacy to operate within the jurisdiction of the area council here in the city of Abuja, Nigeria. But the FCDA gives you an opportunity to operate fully under the jurisdiction of the federal capital. This is the major difference.
All right, thank you for the insightful knowledge you just passed across. So I'd like to ask, by explanation, you did mention that AMAC is still under area council and FCD also issued the R of O and the C of O. So in terms of search, where would one now carry out their search? Is it under the area council in general, or under AMAC, or under FCDA?
All right. When you are given any of these titles for the possession of your property, and you want to make search to validate the authenticity of that property, you carry out your search, whether it is an FCDA property or it is an area council property, whether Buari, Kuje, Gwagwalada, Abaji, Kwali, or any of it. When you want to carry out your search, you carry out your search in the Abuja Geographic Information System, what we call the AGIS, popularly known as the AGIS. When you go to AGIS, all of these documentations are captured and stored in their system. They should be able to tell you which of these, either area councils your land belong, or if it is an FCDA approved allocation. Now, many people prefer to go for FCDA properties because of the uniqueness and confidence it gives them, in terms of ownership, because you hardly find issues that conflict ownership around the FCDA properties, like it is mostly known in the Abuja Municipal Area Councils, where the allocation comes from, the chairman of that area council. Now, this is because allocations could come and then you subsequently have, another minister who comes on the scene and reallocate such plots. But with FCDA, you don't get those kind of issues. So, but when you want to carry out a search, you go to the AGIS to ensure that your search is done properly.
Okay, so information also begot questions for better understanding. So now, when someone wants to carry out search, let's say an individual or under a company, let's use a real estate company for instance, I've heard a scenario whereby they said if you're going to carry out search, so that people will be informed and know that these are the required documentation, all the things they need to carry along when they're going for search. So if you're going for search, if you're being provided a soft copy of the document, be it the RFO or the CFO, I have heard a scenario whereby they said when you go to AGs, you'll be requested to provide the original copy in order to avoid forgery or impersonation of document. How can one curtail that? Because I think it's a brainer for us too.
Okay, so when you want to carry out a search in Aegis, there are a few informations that are needed for such search to take out or to be carried out effectively. First, you need the plot number of that property. Every plot is allocated a plot number. Then you also need the cadastral zone where that particular plot is located. Take for instance, you're buying a plot along Airport Road, say Lugbe for instance. There is a cadastral zone, or there are cadastral zones around the Lugbe axis. You can have either the Lugbe East extension, you can have the Lugbe South, and so on and so forth. So you provide the plot number of that particular plot, you provide the cadastral zone. But then generally speaking, when you want to carry out a search, you give out the title that contains all of this information, or rather still you give out your TDP, which is the technical draw plan. Now on that plan, it's a flip of the document you have, any of the titles, whether an RFO or a CFO. Now contained in that TDP is the plot number, the size of the plot, and the cadastral zone that could be used to make your search.
Thank you very much for this wealth of knowledge. My name remains Blessing Bulus from Danga Homes, and
I'm Billy Ogjol Bityong from Danga Homes. Thank you very much for staying tuned, and until we see you next time,
bye for now.